Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Comic Book Weekly, and let me just tell you, it's a shit show up in here coming off of the Thanksgiving holiday. Let me tell you, we just don't have any of our stuff together, but we are here for you guys, and hopefully you guys will have fun today. And sorry about that, there's an echo there. And but we got a good show for you. We're going to talk about some topics. We're going to talk about, some of the comic books that came out last week, and maybe we'll talk about if we all had a great Thanksgiving or not. But with me, as always, we have the lovely Cat Comic Uno. Say hello, Cat.
Hey guys, what is going on?
And then, of course, next to me, I have Brant Fowler.
What's up, everybody?
Yeah, guys. So, sorry we're a little bit late, but like I said, we're all over the place today. So we're lucky we're on. I guess I can say that. So
yeah, we're running very late for this round. We're trying catching up from the holidays, and I think we took off last week. Getting back to the groove of things as well. But yeah, let's get into the topics, because we actually do have a good amount because of the holiday. So it's 2 weeks worth of news. So first up, we're going to talk about, I'm actually going to save the media news pieces for last, because our topic that we didn't write down is going to be about the Spider-Man movies. So we're going to write that down maybe during the show at some point. Let's start out with the new Aquaman family book coming out. I believe it's called Aquaman. And I'm guessing it's going to be a sequel to the current Aquaman book. It looks like everyone's in it. You got Arthur, you got Jackson. And honestly, I've been liking Aquaman The Becoming. I've been enjoying it. I think it's been a solid book, and I'm looking forward to this. I can't believe I'm saying that about an Aquaman book, but I'm invested.
Yeah, I think it's cool to explore the entire family. It's about time, some of those characters got the spotlight, and they've been doing a lot with Jackson and Annie. And it's Annie, right? I think that's her name. Andy, you're right. Yeah. Lately, so yeah, it's cool. I'm looking forward to exploring them a little bit more.
Honestly, I really don't have anything to say for it. I've never been an Aquaman fan, and just to come up with an Aqua family book now is kind of weird for me. I'm just like, oh, we got nothing else better to do, but we're going to make Aquaman have a family now. So if it's good, it's good. I find it a little weird, in my opinion.
They're trying it all. I mean, at least it's not another Batman book. I got to give it a shot, because it's not Batman. It's so interesting because we're doing our best comics of the year. We do that around December. And I was trying to make up my list for best male characters or whatever. And it was all Bat characters. And I felt bad about it. I'm like, oh, why is it all Bat characters? I'm like, oh, wait, DC's only releasing Batman books. That's the reason why. So let's get into the next topic, which is Brant, you wanted to talk about this. Wonder Woman versus the Justice League. That's the next arc for the Justice League. They're really trying to make you interested in the Justice League, I guess.
Yeah, the only really comment that I wanted to make on it is this reminds me so much of that Captain Marvel arc where she fought the Avengers. That's just
yes.
Yeah. Right. I mean, but I think it's a little bit more involved with that. But the positive that I'll take from it is it's actually repercussions from all that stuff from where she died and was with the whatever they were. I forget what you call the people that she met with, and they were trying to make her part of their, otherworldly. I don't know.
From the Infinite Frontier thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm it's cool that there's continuity there, and they're actually trying to do something off that storyline. So. That's all.
I'm not excited for. We have a lot of Wonder Woman books coming out. There's this event that's getting ready to come out with the Amazons, and it's just I guess like you said, maybe they're just trying to get you involved with the Justice League. Who's writing it?
Oh, I think it's Brian Michael Bendis.
Oh, is it?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm not. There's no way I'm right. No, it's not happening.
Oh, actually, no, it's probably Brian Michael Bendis. I think it's going to be in Justice League. It's going to be a whole arc, possibly. I don't know. I'm not sure. You guys can actually answer in below. I'm not sure where this is happening. They're actually saying Wonder Woman Evolution is happening, and it's going to be Stephanie Phillips, so the person who's writing Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
So Weird that's not happening in the Justice League book. That's interesting.
I just want to say a quick shout out to all the people that are joining the show right now. So welcome to the show, guys.
Yeah, thank you guys. We appreciate it. Tevia does ask, do we have too many Wonder Woman books? Yeah, actually, I would agree. I like the Wonder Woman family books. Like I like that Wonder Girl has a book. I know that Nubia has a book. I think we have a lot because of our anniversary. But it's you know nothing compared to Batman. So.
Now we just need a Wonder Woman family book.
I mean, that's what I'm looking for. I that's what I love to see. So let's get into the next thing. I'm the only one to mark this down, but Luke Cage, you know, we talked about this a couple weeks ago, was getting a book for some event, and now it got canceled before it came out. So it's not being released at all. It's like, why did you announce it then?
That didn't even happen that way. But I was reading a little bit about the article, and it said, like, the script was done and it's ready to go. So, like, why not put it out?
Right.
Marvel's been doing this a lot. Maybe it's money issues because, you know, there was a lot of books that were announced pre-COVID. I mean, we look at, I think New Warriors was a book that didn't end up coming out. There's a couple of other books that didn't end up coming out at all. Gwen Stacy never finished that miniseries that she had. So this definitely happens a good amount that, you know, they just don't finish their books or they don't release it, especially during these COVID times.
I wonder if they're treating... I wonder if they're treating it kind of like a what do you call it? A focus group. And like they put this news out there and it's like, oh, nobody's interested. We're not doing that.
They're like,
that might be
sales are 0. So no, guys.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no one talked about Luke Cage, which is crazy because I'm sure there's Luke Cage fans out there. So I'm sure people would want to. I was going to check out the first issue. Yeah. So weird.
I wasn't.
So there you go. Not everyone was going to check it out.
There's too many Dark Devil's Reign tie-ins.
There is. Spider-Man, I think, has one.
Yeah. It's like so many of them. So I like if I'm not, I really am not going to go out of my way for extra tie-ins. If I'm reading the book, that's the tie-in I'll read.
Gotcha.
So we have also, speaking of Marvel, Namor and Valkyrie are joining the Avengers. I mean, I love Jane. I don't even think Jane's going to give me a reason to pick up Avengers.
She's got to put you over the edge, even if Namor is in it. You got to
Namor negates it.
You got to love to see what happens because Namor's in there. Yeah, it's a love-hate thing. Come on.
If Avengers has been good, I've been like, yeah, I'll check it out. Maybe this will turn the tide for Namor. But Avengers hasn't been good, so I don't think I want to read it.
I am going to read issue 50, though.
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh, good luck.
The thing about Namor joining is the conflict with him and Black Panther. I always think that's interesting. But I've been burned by the Avengers so many times recent years and recent runs.
Volume in particular.
Yeah, exactly. And it just, I can't. We'll see. Maybe I'll try one issue. But if it burns me, I'm done.
Well, you guys let me know how it goes because I'm not checking it out. So next up, we have Webtoon is getting a graphic novel. So they're releasing some of the Webtoons in graphic novel form. I just think it's cool that they're going to the direct market and expanding their franchise. I keep saying I think Webtoon's going to be a really big part of the comic book industry in the next couple of years. I really think it's a great gateway. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely think it is a great thing. And to release graphic novels, it's just another form of comics getting out there to people to check out and read, So I think it's a good thing. Absolutely.
I agree for sure. Tevye asked what Webtoon. I think like Boyfriends was one. I don't remember the exact titles, but I'll put a link to the article so you guys.
They said like 12 a year, right? I think it was that they were going to plan on doing.
Like
I think so, which is cool. I think that's, again, it's interesting because it's not just the comic book market, it's also the book market that's going to read it because it's a graphic novel. So it's not just going to go to the comic book stores, it's going to go to Barnes and Nobles, it's going to go to Amazon. So I think it's a really great gateway for people to read comics, and Webtoon's been doing it right, and I'm happy to see it. Moving on to Gwenverse getting a comic. I think there was like something with Miles that we were talking about last week, and now Gwen is getting a comic. I mean, it's good that we're getting more Spider-Gwen, but man, I don't think I want this.
It's not needed though. It's just like it's rehashing an idea that's already happened, right? I mean, Edge of Spider-Verse, and then it's just like, oh, you know, we did it with Miles or with the Spider-Man or whatever it is, and now you got to do it with Gwen, and I just don't. I think it's just oversaturation of an idea, you know.
And we already had the bending heroes in that event, right? It was like a year ago. I forget what it was called, but there was like heroes like if you know, Spider-Man was Wolverine.
Heroes Reborn.
Yeah, Heroes Reborn.
Yeah.
So we already had it. So I don't know if we need more of it. But hey, I won't say no to Gwen. And I will pick this up.
It's gonna be weird. I wonder if it's gonna be like more like a comedy book, you know?
If it is, I think that would actually be good.
Right.
Yeah. I'll try it out, but I'm not super excited about it.
So we actually have a $5 super chat by New Type JB. Would you want Al Ewing, to do a big Avengers run? He already did spinoffs like New Avengers, Ultimates, and I do want a lineup that has Monica. I think he's busy. He's doing Venom right now. I feel like you know, don't do Brian Michael Bendis thing where you just take over every franchise. Like, take your time.
And it's a big book. It's like if he was not doing Venom, then I would say go ahead. But if he's doing Venom, there's no way he could take on the Avengers and that many characters. And I don't know how many people really enjoyed Al Ewing's Guardians of the Galaxy run. So can he write, you know, a book that really has a lot of people in it, you know, right now? You know, I would like to see those characters also. But in all honesty, I think anybody right now that is better than Jason Aaron on Avengers, because he's just not hitting it to me.
All right, well, let's get into the next thing. This was huge news. Honestly, it could have been a title for us, but it's a little bit of old news. But Star Wars is not going back to Dark Horse. I actually don't know what the full deal is. I think they're just making more Dark Horse comics that was like in their continuity. But I think Marvel's still publishing their Star Wars book, so they're like doing both, which is interesting.
Yeah, it sounds like maybe they're doing what IDW was doing with the Star Wars Adventures stuff.
Yeah,
like
I think it's exactly what it is.
Yeah, so they just switched the license back to Dark Horse for those, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's the only thing I can think of.
Is it the continuity of the old books, or is it new
stuff? If it's anything like the ones IDW were doing, it's outside of continuity.
Yeah,
okay. It's just its own thing,
own story.
Yeah.
Hopefully, Star Wars fans are happy that it's back there in some regard, even if it's not the regard they want.
Yeah, I mean, they did a really good job with Star Wars stuff in the past. So
Dark Horse also doesn't have much going on right now, so good for them that they have a big property again.
They got Brian Michael Bendis.
Yeah.
That's true. We might talk about. Actually, I think I'm the only one who read that book this week.
I had it in my hands and I looked at it, and you know what? To be honest with you, I'd even look at who wrote the book, and I looked at it. I just looked at it inside. I'm like, no way, I'm not reading this. And sure enough, I heard that Brian Michael Bendis wrote it. I'm like, oh, okay, definitely a good thing I didn't read this then.
Yeah, I will possibly. Well, I will talk about it on the chopping block. So that's any determinant of how I felt about the book. That's how I felt about the book. All right, let's go on to. Oh, I lost my spot. Hold on. Let's go on to the next topic, which is Watcher gets a one shot. You guys are interested in talking about that?
Yeah, I think it's cool. Just because we haven't seen him all too much in the comics, and he's recently come back after the whole thing with Original Sin. And I think it's cool to see him again in the comic form. And I think the character is going to get a little bit more popularity as well, based off of, What If from the TV series. So I think it's a pretty cool book. I'll definitely pick it up. It's just a one shot.
Yeah. And I've always liked the Watcher. I've always liked the classic What If stuff.
Yeah.
And if they are exploring, like that article kind of speculated, if they are exploring him kind of standing up to the others and saying, hey, it's about time we actually act and make a difference in all this. That's an interesting twist for that character that we've seen, seeds of, but we haven't seen that full on. So, that'd be interesting.
All right.
We do have a interesting comment here from New Type. He said, "The more I think about it, I want a new writer with a fresh voice with Miles. I like Saladin as a writer, but I didn't think he's suited to take to the teen characters. He's okay with Miles, but his Carmela was not good." I will definitely agree with the Miles situation. I don't know how many times I'm on that book and I get burned by it. And I agree. I think there needs to be somebody out there that can write Miles again to make him a better character in the Marvel comics.
Yeah, I have not read a Miles book in a long time, sadly, and I would like to see a new voice for sure.
I mean, Mike and I talk about it all the time. We keep trying it, we keep sticking with it, but it doesn't get better.
No, it doesn't. The story's so weak. There's just no dialogue to it. There's no depth, and when you look at how rich the character was in his own universe back then. It's amazing. And then even into the Spider-Verse, when you see how he's written in that movie, that's the Miles that and that you care about. And that's, when you look at what he is, I mean, he is like basically could be the next real Spider-Man, but in the main universe, as long as Peter Parker is around, Miles is just second fiddle. And I would have loved to seen not Ben Reilly be in this place, but Miles Morales be in that place instead of Ben. It would have made a much better story.
Yeah, it would have, but I don't think Miles would do that. Like, he wouldn't go corporate. I don't think.
So I don't think they should have done the corporate story at all.
Yeah,
and they could have just had Miles.
They could have changed it to be like, dude, Peter, I'm there for you, and this weight of responsibility is now on me. Right?
That's so much more interesting.
Yeah,
that would have been a lot better.
That would have been more like his character journey in the Ultimate Universe.
Right. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah. I agree. We need more from Miles, and I think it's been proven with Into the Spider-Verse and possibly the Spider-Man movies. We'll see. I'm sure you guys are excited. G.I. Joe's getting another comic. The 10th comic that's out, and is based on the Saturday morning cartoons, though.
Yo, Joe, I saw that, and I'm like, oh, I'll read that.
Yeah, it's interesting that they're going that route. I mean, they've done everything else. They've continued the Marvel run. They've done their own universe. So why not go back to the cartoons as well? So that's cool. Oh, there's definitely love for Ben. I saw that comment. I love Ben Reilly. I don't like this Beyond thing. That's all.
I don't like his role here in certain parts. Like when he's outside the Beyond stuff, and we'll talk about this week's issue, I genuinely like him. Like there was a good scene in this issue where it's just him and Peter. And I'm like, oh, that was really good. Why wasn't the rest of the issue like that?
Right.
I like Ben too. I just think there's a character out there by the name of Miles Morales that needs to play a more prominent role. And it's weird because his first appearance his first appearance issue is worth so much money, right? And it's this big issue, and it's just like, and what is he doing right now in the comics? He's doing absolutely nothing,
Yeah, such a shame.
And he doesn't have that right now. It doesn't feel like he is like that next Spider-Man, that could take the reign if he was supposed to.
Right.
New Type says, I want Eve Ewing to do Miles. She's good stuff with Riri. I do remember liking Ironheart the most when Eve was writing Riri. It was a couple years ago, I think, at this point, but I remember liking that arc the most, or that volume the most. Yeah. All right, well, let's get into the last comic book news piece, which is Destiny of X is revealed to be the spring X-Men arc. And let me tell you, I think I'm glad I've dropped most of the X-Men books at this point because I don't care.
Yeah.
So is this like the end of like maybe Krakoa?
No, I mean, isn't everything it could be the end of Krakoa? I don't think so. I don't know. I don't know. I want Krakoa to end.
Future, we don't see the future, so maybe it's the end of the X-Men as we know it.
But it's one possible future, right? That's kind of what they tease, yeah.
One of many, right?
Yeah. We'll talk about X-Men later, maybe. I don't know. Will we?
Well, I didn't read it, but maybe.
Oh, I read it.
Which X-Men book?
The regular X-Men book?
Yeah.
Which one?
X-Men.
I don't think I read it.
Okay, maybe we won't talk about it, which is fine with me.
So, that came out last week?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Well, you know what? Maybe I didn't get it. Maybe that was the issue. Maybe I was missing some books last week because I remember I didn't get the X-Force Kill Shot issue.
And
yeah, that was the.
I didn't get that either, but on purpose.
Yeah, and I think the X-Men book. I think there was a couple of Marvel books that we did not receive at the shop last week, so that was it.
Mike Manhattan mentions Kyle Higgins could write Miles Morales. Yeah, I think that'd be really cool after seeing what he did with Darkhawk.
He probably would, because between Darkhawk and Radiant Black, and being that Miles is in the Darkhawk book already, that would
written well there. I thought.
What's that?
And written well there, I thought.
And the two panels that he's in.
Right, very tiny snippet, but it felt like Miles. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Kyle Higgins is one of those writers. We talk about Tom Taylor, Kelly Thompson. I think Kyle Higgins, Donny Cates, the current crop of writers that are just anything they tackle is pretty much good. Solid,
for sure. So. Yeah, very much agree on that. All right, well, let's go into our media news pieces. I actually didn't see this trailer, but it seems like you guys both did. Super Pets gets a trailer.
Fuck yeah, man. I'm all up for that.
Rock, John Krasinski, Kevin Hart. It's just like crazy.
My kids loved the trailer, and my son is 14 years old, and he was like, dude, Super Pets looks good.
It really surprised me. I was like, what is Super Pets? I'm like, what is this going to be? And then I saw it, like, who was voicing it. And I was like, oh, well, I've got to check this out. The Rock's in it. Come on. And man, it was really good. The Rock is Crypto Cat, if you didn't know.
Yeah.
I did know that he was playing Crypto. I'm going to see the movie. I just I don't want to see a trailer. I just want to go see the movie,
The trailer was really good.
It was an actual movie, though. I didn't
either.
I thought it was going to be just this something on HBO Max, or just like a half-hour show or something. And I was like, wow, the animation looks good. The voice acting is awesome. And so I was just ecstatic about it. That was the most excited I've been about a DC movie in years.
Yeah, it really got me excited for it too. And I was like, man, Lisa, we gotta go see this. And I was like, man, that's like 5 days after our anniversary. We'll go see Super Pets for our anniversary. Because why not?
Exactly.
That's the kind of geeks we are.
I love it. Well, the last thing, speaking of movies coming out soon, we got the new Spider-Man movie coming out. Hopefully you guys got your tickets, because it's super hard to get them. I got my Thursday ticket. They're not good seats. But there's speculation, or at least someone commented that I guess that's attached to the movie, saying, hey, this is like the end of this trilogy, but we're going to get another Spider-Man trilogy with Tom Holland. So if that's true, that's cool. I hope that's true. I don't know. I think that's what's so fun about this movie. It's like, goes back to Avengers, where it's like, you really don't know what's going to happen. And I like that. I'm excited to be surprised again and just have that hype of the MCU.
Yeah. If it's not Tom Holland, I hope it's Miles.
Well, I have a feeling that's how it's going to end, but we'll see.
That's what a lot of people were saying, were speculating too, that it's without obviously it would be passed down to Miles, and that would only make sense. And then you want to see that comic book jump up in price some more.
Right.
That book would go flying if he actually makes it onto live screen. But if Tom Holland's in it for another 3 movies, I'm absolutely fine with that, because I think he plays a great Spider-Man. And I get not being in a role forever. These guys want to do other things besides superhero movies. But you know what? To tell you the truth, if someone sat there and said, sir, I'm going to pay you another $50 billion to play Spider-Man, I would be like, okay, I don't need to play anybody else. I'll take your cash.
Right.
I mean, you're going to be remembered forever as Spider-Man, just like Robert Downey Jr. is going to be remembered forever as Tony Stark, and what's his face as Wolverine, what's his name?
Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman,
yeah.
Like, no matter who other Wolverine or other character you're going to get, you're always going to remember those characters, those actors and actresses that played those people originally, you know?
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think I read something about Tom Holland saying he wasn't ready to stop playing Spider-Man anyway. So that's good that he's still excited if that's true. I love Tom Holland as Spider-Man. I think it's a perfect fit, and I'm ready for another 3 movies. I'm ready for this one. I did not get my tickets, so hopefully they're.
I didn't get tickets either, so just whenever I get to see it, I'll get to see it. Yeah, that's just the way I look at it.
I just didn't want to be spoiled.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, for sure. So we're planning to, me, Lisa, and her brother. So we'll see what happens.
I guarantee.
If it wasn't Spider-Man, I wouldn't care. I'd be like, whatever. I'll go see it when I'll go see it when it's on Disney Plus. Who cares? Like because it's Spider-Man. I'm like, I really want to go see this movie.
Right.
That movie is going to break every box office record.
I think it's gonna do, because also you're getting the old fans. Like Avengers: Infinity War was all MCU fans. This is also like, if you like Tobey Maguire, you're gonna watch this movie.
Yeah, everyone's gonna want to see this. Like, I think it's just there. It's just, I think it's gonna break Avengers Endgame. I think it's gonna break every record that there is. This is because I mean, I heard that when these tickets went on sale, right? Like the freaking all the websites like shut down because of just all the traffic and everything. So
things are crashing. I went to go see House of Gucci the next day, and like the app was still slow. Like where I was trying to show my ticket, I'm like, here it is, and it was still slow because people are still trying to get on that app to get Spider-Man tickets.
Yeah.
And I don't recommend House of Gucci, but I did go see it.
You were so excited to see it too.
I was excited when I thought it was a movie about a murder, and then I found out it's not. It's everything but. Lady Gaga's in it. That's actually all our news, though. So we are going to move on to the comics, unless there was something else we wanted to discuss. Hawkeye came out this week. I saw the first episode. I didn't get to see the second, but did everyone see it?
I saw both episodes.
The first one. I saw the first one.
We can talk about the pilot then.
Yeah. We can talk about that, and then I'll plug my Kickstarter if that's okay.
Oh, yeah, and your Kickstarter, obviously.
Just because you don't have one, Ken.
You know?
I'm teasing.
When you're right, you're right. But yeah, speaking of Hawkeye, I wanted to actually see this show because I really like the comic, and I love Kate. And I really liked the show. I thought it was really solid. The only reason I didn't see it was just, honestly, time. I want to watch it with my family, and to get everybody in one room is pretty hard. So it's going to probably we're going to have to probably binge watch it like during the Christmas break, which I don't mind. But I really enjoyed it. I like Kate a lot. I'm not saying it's like, highbrow television, but it's fun and it's everything I wanted in Hawkeye.
Yeah, Lisa and I always watch the Marvel shows together, so trying to get together to watch that this week with how busy this week was for me was a challenge, but we managed to watch that one episode. And I really liked Haley as Kate. I thought she really nailed that role. And the way that they addressed the stuff with Clint, too, with him dealing with the loss of his friends, basically, and losing his hearing on top of it, too. They touched on all that stuff, pulled stuff straight from both runs. And, I thought it was a really solid first episode. And I can't wait to watch more.
Oh, yeah. I love that. I mean, I watched the first and second episode, and I watched it with my wife and my daughter and my son, just because I knew it was going to be a Marvel show that we could all watch. And my daughter really liked Kate, which was really cool. And in the second issue, you get to see that relationship develop more between Kate and Clint. And the second episode for me was even better than the first. I really enjoyed it.
That's what I hear.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's just a fun watch, and the dynamic between those two characters are so good. And I just love seeing Lucky, the pizza dog, in there, and so many things that are in that show that just reminded me of that Fraction run. I mean, even the artwork, like it was mentioned, like at the beginning of the episodes, you know, the intro is just right there. It's spot on. You got the bros, you know, and now me and the household are just sitting there, you know, always going like, what's up, bro? Bro, what's up? I'm like, Ashlyn, bro, go pick that up, bro. And she's like, okay, bro. 10-year-olds going around saying, bro. But it's so cool, man. I love this show. This could be, you know, we'll have to wait and see, of course, but this could be the best show that Marvel has put out so far, you know.
I'm interested to see, especially side by side by WandaVision, though. Like, will it be better than that? Because that was so good.
I think that the mother is Madame Mask, right?
That's interesting.
That's what
she's definitely the villain. I feel like pointing fingers
at that. She's something there. She's got the haircut like her, you know. So I was like, I think it was one of my theories, and then at the end of episode 2, you see somebody that I did not familiarize myself with. I'm like, or is that could be her? So I don't know, but that was kind of what I was thinking, you know, because she's involved with the freaking swordsman and everything else. So I don't know, but yeah, man, great show. You're gonna love the second episode. It's so good.
Yeah. I love how like she became like a Hawkeye fangirl right at the beginning. Like, I'm gonna learn archery now. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it's just there's so much to love about this. They're doing so well with these Marvel shows for me.
They are.
I'm
so excited for like Miss Marvel and She-Hulk.
Yeah.
Tevia says, isn't Madame Mask Iron Man villain? She is, but she was also a Kate Bishop villain. Like she showed up a lot, especially in Kelly Thompson's run. Like she was like a big villain in that. So
and then
sense.
She was in this Fraction run too. She's in it.
Yeah. And the actress playing her mom's too big of an actress to not be somebody even more important, right? So,
right.
Yeah.
So we'll and also it's interesting because I mean I don't think this is too much of a spoiler because most people wouldn't care about this, but in the comics like Kate's dad is alive and the mom's dead.
Yeah.
So it looks like they've reversed the roles too, and Kate's dad's a villain in the comic. So it looks like maybe the mom's a villain instead and the dad's dead.
It's an interesting
dad
twist.
Comes back.
Yeah, I think he'll come back.
Yeah, I don't think he's dead. He took off somewhere. Something happened to him.
Kate's got an interesting family for sure. And I'm glad they're focusing on that because I feel like the show could have just been about Jeremy Renner's family. But I'm glad the show is equally about like her family, which is cool. Because I think that's definitely the most interesting. Well, not the most interesting thing about Kate, but one of the many layers that makes Kate an interesting character.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, let's get to Kickstarter time. You only have 3 more days left, right?
Yeah, it ends Friday, so we are we still got a little ways to go. I clicked the wrong thing. There we go. I was going to share it on the screen real quick. So this is In the Land of the Dragon, cyberpunk fantasy comic book story about a mercenary named Kenzo who is tasked with kidnapping a child that holds a secret that could shift the balance of power between 2 warring corporations. Really cool story, great art. We just added a new reward tier for a digital bundle. So you can back that just to get some cool comics to read, and it still supports the campaign. We introduced that today, so we are over 80% now. So like Kat said, we got 70 hours left, still got a little bit of ways to go. So hopefully we'll finish strong on Friday. But if you haven't checked that, you can check it out, lastemperpress.com/dragon. And I'll close that. Scroll down to show just a little bit of the art, and I'll keep this brief. That's some of the new reward tiers, milestones we've unlocked. There's some of the art. Really cool stuff. So go check that out, and thank you.
And do you have a link for that too, Brent, to put in the comments?
Yeah, I'll drop it in there.
All right, guys. So switch it over to comic books. So some decent books that came out this week. I'm curious to see what you guys think of them. The first book this week, and we're going to talk about it, is Hulk issue 1. Donny Cates, Ryan Otley. What'd you guys think of it?
I thought it was solid. I liked it, but it's so hard to follow up Immortal Hulk. And this definitely said, nah, forget about that book. We're going to just do our own thing, which, in some regards I liked a lot, but at the same time, like, I like when a book is a bridge where you're like, at least they know the last volume happened, and I don't feel like that happened here. They completely said, let's not think about Immortal Hulk at all.
Very little reference to that. And it's interesting how Banner just basically is screw it, and he's like, I'm taking over the Hulk, and and he's gonna leave Hulk the way he is, and he controls his mind, and it's all about rage, and it's quite interesting. I mean, I liked it. I just think that you can't be too quick of a judge on it because Donny Cates, knowing his storytelling, it's a much larger scale. And so he hasn't even scratched the surface when it's come to this issue. It's just, hey, I'm Hulk. This is Banner. I control Hulk. And I went into some freaking celestial that Tony Stark created from King and Block, and I'm being transferred to some other world. And that's basically, what it is right now. But I enjoyed it. I love the artwork that Ryan Otley put on the pages, and just hope it's consistent. And, I enjoyed it. It's different. And real quick, Brant, my thing about it is that people always complain about, it's the same old shit, right? It's the same old characters, like same old Hulk smash, Hulk do this, nothing new, nothing fresh. And then, and then you get new stuff like Immortal Hulk, and then you can appreciate something like that. But then you get the flip side of things, and people are like, well, it's not the same, it's not the character. Well, it's like, well, what do you want? Do you want the same old, or do you want fresh, new, and different stories?
I definitely want Immortal Hulk more than this, but like you said, it's just the first issue,
right?
And also, it's a
Hulk
different
is
beast.
Still different from the same old boring Hulk that we had before that, right?
And this is still different than boring Hulk because it's like, again, they flipped the script and all that. But Brant, what did you think as someone who didn't read Immortal Hulk?
Yeah, that's where I was going to come in at. Is like I have no idea how Immortal Hulk ended, so I didn't know if it tied into that at all. So it's interesting hearing that it didn't really. But this was not what I expected. Like when it started off, I was like, okay, I don't know if I'm going to like this. And then you brought in all the Avengers, and they're talking about this, and it's like, oh, this is like the Illuminati again. They're talking about getting rid of the Hulk, and then it's like, oh, he's like a Starship Enterprise captain inside his mind now. So what the heck is this? It was crazy. It was a trip, and I enjoyed it. I'm hesitant about it. I don't know if it's going to keep my interest long term. But I've learned that I do like Cates' long games more than his initial starts. So I'm going to stick with it, and hopefully he takes me on an interesting ride. But it's definitely not what I expected, for sure.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I mean, like I said, we don't know where the Hulk is going to end up because Tony Stark made it a thing to say, don't go through there. We don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So he's going on this journey, and, I don't have a problem with Banner kind of losing it and being the evil one and Hulk being the good one, and Banner taking control of him. Again, it's just something different. We've seen Hulk smash. We've seen the 800 different personalities that Hulk has, right? And how he's in this last volume, how he's dealt with that. Now we've get to see him as a character where he's just over it,
Yeah.
And I think he's just mentally, he's broken too. I think he's just over it. So
it's definitely a different take.
I do like the flip where from what I do remember, like there was a trunk and somebody was like Banner was in the trunk and Hulk was in the trunk and all this stuff in the trunk. And now he's got the Hulk locked in this thing,
Oh, that was Amadeus Cho Hulk. Remember that?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I thought that was a nice, like little flip on things that he's kind of locked away the monster. And so that's not going to end well, but it's interesting.
Right. Tevi is like, we've done Evil Banner before. And he goes, I missed the Immortal Hulk. The problem with Immortal Hulk is he even said the Immortal Hulk ending was confusing, but I miss Immortal Hulk. So what happened with the Immortal Hulk towards the end, it did get too like crazy, too convoluted, like
I agree with that.
Too much. Like Al Ewing just made it so far out there to where it was like, wow, like I don't even know what's going on anymore. And that's kind of like my fear that I have when it comes to, and we talked about it already, when it comes to Venom, when he's going to be writing Venom as that story progresses. Like how weird is he going to bring that out there while Eddie's in space or whatnot, or wherever he's at in the garden right now, you know? So I liked Immortal Hulk too, but you know, all good things must come to an end. You can't drag it out. And I do feel like that series did drag out a little bit.
A lot of it. I think it should have been 30 issues. I think it was like 20 issues too long. But yeah, definitely willing to give this a chance. It's a great all-star creative team, and I liked the issue. I didn't love the issue, but I liked it.
Yeah. Again, it's too early to tell. It's really hard to tell based off of a first issue when it comes to something like that. You just got to trust in Donny Cates' writing and see where it takes us from here.
I dropped Thor in the beginning, right? I hated Thor.
Yeah.
And then I picked it up again, and I was like, oh, it's getting good. So, like, you know, it's a slow burn as writing for sure.
Sure. Absolutely. All right, let's talk about the next book. And I was shocked that this book was as much money as it was.
Was it? How much was it? I just kind of picked up my books.
It was $10.
Radiant Black?
Yeah.
Mine was $3.99.
Was it?
$10.
Yeah.
Did you get a special variant or something?
Maybe I misread it. Let me see your copy, Kat.
It's over here in the back. Hold on. Give me a second. I have to find the price tag.
Let me see your front
copy.
No,
it's in the front.
Oh, you know what it is? I got this one. I'm sorry. This is the Blacklight edition.
Oh, you get the Blacklight one. Okay.
That's what it was.
I forgot all about that. We talked about that when they announced it. Yeah.
That's right. The $10 book. Let me tell you.
I hope it was worth your $10.
Reading that shit in a Blacklight though, that was crazy. Like
was it?
How I found out was like I didn't have a Blacklight, but my daughter, we put LED lights in her room. So I put on the purple lights that she had, and so it lights up the comic in there that way. And so I read it, and the book just takes you to a whole other world, man, just like the issue does in there, you know, when you're reading it. And it's just like, wow. It was so awesome to do it. And it took you in a different dimension. That's where Nathan wound up going to try to get his best friend back, or Marshall to try to get Nathan back. And I loved it. And I loved the emotion in this book towards the end as well. And it was just a great read, man. I really loved it.
Talk about a trippy book.
Yeah,
this was trippy. No, go ahead, Kat.
No, go for it. Go.
No, you started a thought, so go for it.
I thought the beginning was a little slow because I'm like, it's so on the nose of the existentialism, and then once you get to the end with Nathan and Marshall, and especially Marshall and like his feelings about himself, I'm like, oh, that was good. Like I like that it built up to that. So it took a little while for me to like, get into it. Yeah, it was definitely a build up. Also the art was like, even without the black light, it was just so freaking good for this issue.
Yeah, I love like the use of negative space in some of those pages. That was really, really cool. And the way that the lettering, like when they went into that tunnel thing, the lettering was like upside down and sideways and all that stuff. That was visually is pretty cool. But it was I was a little, I don't want to say bored with it, but I agree with you, Kat. It was a little bit slow when it started, and some of those places in the middle, I was like, okay, you know, I get it. I want to get to the end of that part. Yeah.
But see, if you're tripping on a black light while reading it, you're in a whole different dimension. You know?
You're already in a different dimension.
You're just like appreciating all those oranges and everything. They just like really pop when you're reading it. And I'm like, okay, this is cool, man. I like this. So yeah, it wasn't a bad book. But now, you know, it looks like we getting our main character back, and what's going to happen now with these two,
Who is the main character of this book? That's the real question, which I love.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, cool. So awesome book. So let's talk about our number 5s now. What was your number 5, Brent?
Hulk, which we already talked about.
And that was mine too. And Kat?
Mine was the other Don and Kate's book, which is Thor, issue 19. Yeah, this issue, I like the ending. I like where we got to. Like, I liked where it's like, okay, someone has gotten the hammer and things are wreaking havoc. I thought there were some parts that were a little slow, but I like the character beats overall. I like Thor and Sif. I like Thor and Odin. It's a pretty good issue. Not the best issue of Thor, but
the setup, though.
Yeah, it was a good setup issue, and it was a good cliffhanger.
Listen, I liked it. I really enjoyed it. I loved how Nick Klein was back on the artwork.
Yeah, art was great.
And I just love the setup. I mean, you get a little bit of how Mjolnir was created. You get a little bit of something really bad happened towards the end of it, and somebody is in possession of the hammer now, and we don't know who that is. And whoever has that hammer, that's a pretty bad thing. Is it what they showed in that first story arc where it was Thanos that had the hammer with the stones in it? Maybe. We don't know, but this is going to lead to something very big, in my opinion. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I liked it. I didn't love it, so it was a little bit lower for me. But yeah, it was like it started off really slow, and then there wasn't a whole lot of progression. And then it's like I feel like we've done all the dwarves are dead before in Thor and years ago. So I don't know. Hopefully it goes somewhere stronger for me. As you know, sure. I've enjoyed the series, so I'm sure it will pick up for me.
My favorite part was the Lady Sif part.
Yeah.
Where she is questioning him, and he's just like, should you turn in your sword? Yeah. She's like, no. Because he means there's some serious shit that's going to happen. So that's I think it's going to be good. All right. So let's talk about Kate Bishop, Hawkeye, issue 1. I wasn't a real fan of this book.
It was disappointing in the fact that Kelly Thompson's book was so good. And this one, I felt like I like the premise. I like the sister. I was like, oh, that's interesting. It's cool that's back in New York City. It has potential. But I didn't like the voice. I didn't feel like it was Kate. Like, the dialogue work was not strong. I still will read it. It's Kate Bishop. I'll continue to read the book. The artwork was okay. And I think the concept of the book's really good. But I didn't love the writing, honestly.
Go ahead, Brent.
I'll say this. This was the last book I read. I read right before we came online, and I kind of rushed through it. So I didn't get that vibe, though. I actually really enjoyed it. And I did feel like I heard her voice there. Obviously, I have an affinity for Kelly Thompson's run. That's, my favorite version of Kate. But I thought there were notes of that here. And I liked the reasoning for her to go back home, and the whole thing with the sister and the flashback and all that and the weird stuff going on at this resort. I thought that was really interesting, and the way she described it was like zombie Clue. I'm a big Clue fan, so that was cool to me. So I like that little nod, and I'm always down for a good mystery. So I actually really enjoyed it.
This could be a title that I might like as it goes on. I'm not going to drop it in any way. I think it's really bad. After watching the show, my expectations for reading this comic were really high. And I did not capture the same excitement after reading this. Not saying it was like a horrible comic. It just wasn't what I expected, I guess, right? But I will continue it. I'll see where it goes from here. I wasn't a huge fan of like the whole resort thing personally. And it was just like, oh, look at where my kid's gone. Come rescue my kid. You know, I was like, okay. I'm like, all right, we'll see where it goes.
It's also a very mellow premiere. Like, you want an issue 1 to be striking, you want it to be memorable, and this was just like, felt like an issue 5. Just felt like, okay,
it just seemed like she was there. You know what I'm saying? Like, no excitement at all. But it again, I will continue it also because same thing, like you, like you, Kat. Like I like the character, and I do want to see, you know, the progression of the book if it does get better. All right, so we'll just jump in right to our number 4. So we'll go to Kat for your number 4.
And it's Hulk. We already talked about it.
Well, and Brant,
Radiant Black. We already talked about.
Wow, that's so funny. And what's my number 4? I don't remember.
I also only read 7 books this week.
Oh, this is one that you guys. This is one that you guys won't read. This is Gunslinger Spawn issue 2. So,
I saw there's a lot of toilet stuff going on from the
it's literally the last 2 pages of the book of when that takes place, and it's hilarious. But the overall issue is actually really good. There's, you know, if you like Brett Booth's artwork, and I know, Kat, you don't like his artwork, I love it because I think it has so much energy on the pages, and he goes into detail, and he brings life to these characters. And with Gunslinger Spawn, I feel like he's just a badass Spawn, man. It just almost reminds me of the Punisher. He's more of a realistic like character, where Spawn is more godlike or stronger. And this guy is trying to protect the boy that he's been teaming up with, right? Against his own father. And his father's been doing these deals with these demons and these angels. And it became a very sad outcome at the end of the comic book. And it looks like this young boy is going to be teaming up with Gunslinger Spawn, kind of showing him the ropes. He's like, he's going to be like a father, maybe a father figure to him. And again, he was like, he found the toilet inside the freaking house at the end. He's like, what is this? You know, he's like, why do you have an outhouse in your house? And he's like, and where does the shit go? You know? And he goes, it goes down the pipes and into the, into the sewers. And he's like, the government collects your shit. And it was so funny. It's just a really funny scene there, and really good book overall. So I'm really enjoying this Spawn volume. I think I actually like this as of right now better than the original Spawn series.
Wow. Damn. There you go. Yes.
All right, so that was my number 4, your guys' number 4, and so now we're going to talk about Robin issue 8. So, what do you think about this issue? I think this was a really quick read, in my opinion.
It was.
I really like this issue. Like, it's everything I want from an action issue. Like, there's some really good action between Connor and Damian, but at the same time, it was building mythos. It was building like what's going to happen in this story. It's just a really well done issue. This is definitely one of my favorite series on stands right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I love like Robin's whole, and I may be getting. I read the last 2 issues back to back, so I may be getting some stuff mixed up. So I apologize for that. But, I kind of love his whole character journey throughout the series, and kind of coming to terms with really finding himself through this tournament and finding his purpose, kind of, especially, trying to win this thing just so he can defeat everybody. And of course, the reveal of who Mother Soul is, too. So,
yeah, it was good. It was a good issue. Quick read. I remember I was like, man, that's it. I wanted... Yeah. The sad thing about this book is that I wanted to read more, and that was unfortunate that it ended so quickly. I loved seeing that fight. I loved the stare down in the beginning, like they were standing there for like an hour, right? Looking at each other.
Cool. Yeah, that was fun
pretty
scene.
Cool. Yeah. Mike Manhattan had a question. Gunslinger sounds like Lone Wolf and Club. Is Haunt connected to the Spawn universe? So supposedly Haunt is coming back in the Spawn universe because they showed him make a reappearance in one of the Spawn comic books. I think it was in Spawn Universe. So he was in there. So I think you'll be seeing the return of that character sometime soon. All right. So that was the little bit of the Robin discussion. Unfortunately, not too much to talk about there because there really wasn't a lot that happened, you know?
It was just a good issue.
Yeah,
it's just like, but it wasn't like a plot progression issue too much, which is okay. Like, I just thought it was a fun issue.
You do get to see the monster kind of at the end.
True.
Yeah, and Connor Hawke, it was at his third life, so like, what happens with him now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe he's dead.
Yeah,
you're not going to see him for another 20 years.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to our number 3. I'll go this time first. So my number 3 was in book we already talked about, and that was Radiant Black. And I just want to say I didn't read only 7 books. I read 18 books this week.
18.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and so we're still on the same wavelength here when it comes to books. It's just funny.
It's so crazy. I will say I have a lot more books this coming week. I think I have like 15 books, but I only had 7 this week. Although Serial was supposed to come out and my store didn't have it, so I would have had 8 books.
Honestly, I was surprised I had this many books because this is the week where it has all the annuals coming out. And I'm like, I'm not going to have this many books. And I have like 18 books still. I'm like, how the fuck do I feel like 18 books? I'm like, I'm getting like one of those annuals and that's it.
Yeah.
We'll talk about the annuals. I think I'm getting like 3, but we'll talk about those when we get to it. But yeah, next week I definitely have a lot. Like tomorrow I have a lot to read for sure.
Right. So let's see who's got to go. Number 3.
Me.
Brant.
Fight Girls. Last issue for now. We'll see what happens. Interesting twist with.
I did not see that ending coming.
I didn't see any of this coming. So it was so weird.
It crossed my mind, right? I'm just like, where's this gonna go? And then I'm like, that king is pretty nasty, man.
The king. Oh, Cat. So
I saw the one panel from Mike, so I know a little bit what happened, but not much.
Yeah. So they had to see if the queen was compatible. So they strapped her to a stirrup chair and was like, all right, receive your king. It's like, what? And then the twist comes, and it turns out that she's working with Eye Patch Girl. They were hired together to do this, to kill the king. And that's kind of what the story was. And they escape and get paid a lot of money for killing the king for the former queen.
I'm glad there was a twist to it. Because, again, I remember that first issue. I'm like, oh, this is weird. Yeah, so I'm glad there was a twist.
It's crazy because they were put in that tournament, you know, for them to to win this tournament or get to the final 2 and then kill that king. And it just, for both of them to be in the finals, it was quite interesting.
Yeah.
But that ending was great. I'm like, holy shit, they're friends and they work together and it was the queen that wound up paying them, right? Because she was
the former queen,
the original queen who wound up wanting to kill that king. Because that king, Rufus is his name, was this big, huge, nasty. He can't even walk. He has to float. Like, they made this chest where he floats in the sky and it's like magnetized to her. And he was about to with her. And she was like, I ain't doing this, man. He licked her and she was like, ugh. You get to see the panel. It's so nasty. It was like, oh man. But it was such a good issue. I really liked it. And it was a great ending. It wasn't just some cheesy ending where it was just like, oh, predictable, really nice little twist there.
Yeah.
So
we do have also a question from Mike Manhattan. Do you think Marshall, I think his name is, will resign as Radiant Black, or will he stay as Radiant Black? I think he's going to stay as Radiant Black, and we'll get like a Green Power Ranger moment with Nathan, and then he'll become a different person.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
I mean, I think that whole issue is about like, oh, I'm not enough. They're not going to be like, oh, no, you're not a superhero now.
Yeah, because it's, Nathan, like we talked about before, was kind of our entry character and, the relatable character. But Marshall's, like he said in this issue, he hasn't done anything with his life. He saw Nathan chasing his dreams, but this is his chance to be something special. So, yeah, I don't think they'll drop that. So,
Serenity's like eye patch girl.
Yeah,
her name is Sandra Blackwater.
Blackwater or something like that.
Yeah, and then Tora Winter is the other girl. Yeah,
right.
So, all right. So we all did our number 3.
I think I have mine number 3. Still.
Oh, you're number 3. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, mine was because I only had 7 issues. Mine was Hawkeye, Kate Bishop.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right. So next, we have to talk about The Amazing Spider-Man issue 79. So we
do have to talk about that.
This is the book where Kraven the Hunter makes his appearance in here. Artwork was improved in this issue.
Yeah.
I thought there was actually decent moments in this book. Sometimes when you get to the Beyond Corporation stuff, it gets kind of repetitive because the guy's constantly like, well, Ben Reilly, you have to do this and you have to do that. And, it's not only about you, but it's about the Beyond Corporation. And it's like, they're always hounding him like a child, And I get where they're going with it. But as a reader, it just gets repetitive. And as a reader, this by now. And you would think that Ben Reilly would know this by now. And this guy doesn't have to repeat the same old shit over and over again. Right. So that's when it gets repetitive. Kat, you mentioned it earlier, where Ben Reilly is good when he's out on his own, not following the Beyond Corporation, like when he's going to Peter and he's going, maybe asking for advice and things like that. That's when it's actually fun, or when he's fighting a villain or whatnot, But yeah, the Beyond stuff kind of just like, holds it back.
Yeah, the whole corporation stuff bores me so much. Like, we've done this with Spider-Man before, didn't quite like it. So just seeing this with Ben Reilly instead, I'm like, I don't care. But yeah, when it goes back to the hospital and when it goes back to character work, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. This could be good. But it's not yet.
Yeah. We didn't get to talk about it because we had no show, but I really like the Beyond issue with Misty and Colleen. I thought that was
fun.
Like
that? Really?
I did.
I didn't really like that issue.
I liked it. I love the Daughters of the Dragon. So
you're the first person that I've heard that has enjoyed that issue. Now, I liked the dynamic between the two characters. Yeah. I thought they were cool, and I liked the little twist on the end on how they pulled that fast one on what's her name? Maxine, is that her name?
I don't remember what her name is.
But but they pulled that fast one on her. So that's what I liked about it. And there's like, oh, I need to take a mental health day. Yeah, I'm taking like a week off. I'll see you later. Peace out. Like, I like that about that issue.
Yeah, I just like them. I like them a lot, and I don't think they get enough screen time, panel time, whatever you want to call it. But and I also like, I don't know, kind of seeing the motivation behind her, Maxine, whatever her name is. Those little instances we get in the main series as well. So, I enjoyed it. But as far as this issue goes, I think the strongest parts of this entire story so far have been in the hospital room with Mary Jane and Peter and Ben. All those moments are the best. And Kraven versus Spider-Man, again, I wasn't really into it. So, yeah.
I like when we were talking about it. I think, I don't know, was it you and I? When we talked about the last Spider-Man issue when Black Cat was in the hospital room. That was cool. Her and Mary Jane.
I'm excited for that annual, or whatever it is, like that one shot. I'm like most excited for that because there's nothing coming up from Spider-Man where I'm like, ooh, I'm excited.
Right.
Do you know
a shame.
Do you know the Goblin Queen or Queen Goblin or whatever she is? Mm-hmm. I know who she is because on the design variant, it says who she actually is.
I heard.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they spoiled it. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. So it
I
says
didn't
who
see
she
this.
is on there. Yeah. It says it on the top left-hand side. And I'm like, dude, how did I miss that the first go around when I looked at the image, right?
Yeah.
So when you when you see the name, you'll be like, really? And it's just like, man.
Oh, no, I'm disappointed. I don't even know who it is, and I'm disappointed.
It wasn't very interesting. Yeah, I was like, oh, who cares?
Yeah, well, just tell me because I'm gonna look it up. So
Serenity's like, ooh, spill the tea, Mike.
Yeah.
So I don't know if anybody else wants it spoiled if they don't know. So
okay.
I'm not.
That's cool.
We'll tell you post show.
Right.
I'll probably find out before then, but that's cool.
Just all you got to do, Serenity, is look on the design variant of that issue, and you'll see it on the top left-hand corner on who it is. So, all right.
Really?
So,
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah.
Out of all,
it was a very random character.
Why?
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Interesting.
All right. Let's jump into our number 2. Kat, what was your number 2?
Mine was Radiant Black. We already talked about it.
Brant?
Mine was actually Hawkeye.
Nice.
On purpose, Kat.
And mine was
on purpose. Oh, nice. It really is. Everyone has the same picks.
All right.
What was your Mike?
Thor.
Thor. Okay.
Yeah. And then we talked about Fight Girls, so let's talk about the number 1 book. Well, mine was Fight Girls. And Kat?
Mine was Robin.
Okay. Yeah. Brant's was Robin too. There he is. There it is. Mine was Rufus. I liked Rufus in Fight Girls. That's why it was my number 1.
He's your number 1 dude.
Oh yeah. All right. So
is he the king? He was the king, right? Is Rufus?
He was the king. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You don't want to be around that king. All right.
I'm glad I didn't finish Fight Girl, but I'm glad I know everything that happened.
It's good.
It was a good series. I enjoyed
so much fun with that.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about the books that we're thinking about dropping. What's going on? The Chopping Brock?
Chopping Brock?
Yep. For me, I read that Black Panther issue 1 book. I'm not reading issue 2.
That's a shame that Black Panther hasn't been able to nail it.
I'm not saying it was a bad story. It just was not for me because I'm not rich in history when it comes to Black Panther, but it was just not. I felt like it just wasn't a great jumping on point. It was like too wordy. It was boring. There wasn't action. It seemed very political. There was 2 people in love that shouldn't have been in love, and one person got killed. And I was just like, oh, I don't care. I just don't care. So that's why I was like, I'm not reading this. Now, and if you liked it, that's great. It's a book that just was not for me. So that's what I'm dropping. And then what's up? Kat, what's this one?
Joy Operations is the Brian Michael Bendis.
The Brian Bendis
from Dark Horse. Yeah, it was kind of the same thing we've seen with Brian Michael Bendis' previous books, which I was actually surprised because I thought like less was on his plate because we haven't, he wasn't doing Superman. I'm like, oh, this might be like old school Brian Michael Bendis, and it wasn't. So just to let you guys know.
Brant, what issue was that Spider-Man book with the Amazing Spider-Man book with the Goblin Queen?
The Queen Goblin.
Queen Goblin.
I have it open.
80?
Because I closed it.
87?
Where is it? They don't actually have it's February. So whenever it comes, it's a February issue. That's all I got.
Why does it not say? That's weird.
Yeah, it doesn't say the issue number.
I want to say it's issue 87 or 86 around there. Because it's going to be a 3-part story, and it goes to like issue 90. So I think it was.
That's such a shame.
Yeah.
I was actually like somewhat looking forward to that, and I'm like, oh, never mind.
You should never spoil that. They probably didn't even realize it. I bet you they didn't even realize it when they.
I don't think they did. Yeah, because I don't think they would have because they tried teasing it. Just like, oh,
88.
He's bigger than Green Goblin.
88.
88.
Okay, so I was close. I was right there. All right, cool. All right. So let's go to Brant. You're going to talk about books that we're looking forward to coming out tomorrow or today.
Yeah. So a lot to talk about here. Let's just, since we already kind of mentioned that, we'll talk about those DC annuals. We got Batman, Detective Comics, Nightwing, Wonder Woman, The Joker, Robin, and Justice League Dark are all coming out.
There's so many. I'm not getting Batman because that's Ghostmaker. I am getting Detective Comics because I know that's the beginning of like a big arc, and that's going to determine if I'm going to read Detective Comics. Getting Nightwing, obviously. What's the other one?
The Joker or Robin? Robin.
I'm getting Joker. I'm getting Robin. So I'm getting pretty much everything.
except for Dark and Wonder Woman.
I'm not getting Justice League. I'm not getting Wonder Woman. I'm not getting Batman.
Yeah. The Joker, man, they're revisiting that story. Interesting.
Yeah. So. And also it's like one of the few stories left of James Tynion. So, you know, he's not on the book for much longer.
I'm only getting the Robin book.
Yeah. Only Robin out of all the Nightwing?
No, not even Nightwing. I can't. I don't want to spend $6 per issue.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like if these annuals were $4 an issue, that's a little bit different. Like I could buy something else that I might enjoy more than an annual book that I'm taking a gamble on.
Right.
Like when I read Robin and I was like, oh, they're going to be touching on the characters that were in the tournament.
Right.
I want to know about that.
Exactly.
Like I want to know about Flatline. I want to know about Respawn for sure. You know, so I'm definitely picking that up. Detective Comics, it's going to be a lead into the next story. I don't care. I'll just wait until the first issue of the story arc. I'll pay a couple dollars less or whatever it is. And it is what it is. Like I said, without all those annuals, I'm already buying like 17 or 18 books next week. It's 17 books.
Also, Batman Fear State comes out tomorrow. So the Batman annual and Fear State comes out.
Yeah.
So
I think Fear State's the other one I'm getting because it's the
it's the ending.
It's the ending, yeah. So I think I'm getting that too.
I'm gonna get that. I mean, Nightwing, it's Tom Taylor, so I'm like, okay. Joker, hope it's good.
Yeah, I'm on the fence about the Joker one. That Nightwing and Robin are solid. You know, the Joker was the third one I was kind of thinking about. But yeah, the rest, and also Justice League. We didn't put it on here, but Justice League Incarnate comes out too, I believe.
Yeah, I'm not picking that up.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying it's another event thing falling off New Frontier. So I know you said, Mike, you're going to read Avengers number 50, and they like retitled it as like the Secrets of the Avengers or something like that for this issue.
I don't know. All as I know is that it's here again. This book is a $10 book because
it's 750.
750. So, and this is also the conclusion to World War She-Hulk.
Yeah.
So this might be the issue where Jen gets back to where she was. So if that's the case, and if that happens in this issue, I want to read that.
Yeah, I get that. Speaking of her, we've also got Fantastic Four number 38.
I'm excited for She-Hulk.
Yeah.
And she makes an appearance in that too.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that. All right, we got let's see. Let's talk about Captain Marvel number 34, the next part of the Marvel, all the Marvels.
It's been fine.
Yeah. It's been okay, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not been great.
Like you said, it's been fine. It's okay. Yeah. It's the end of the last issue just felt a little flat to me. It was really, really good. And then all of a sudden she's just like having this conversation with, Vox Supreme. And then what happened?
Right.
She got sent out in his coffin or something.
Yeah, in space. Like yeah.
So we'll see.
Kind of a weak ending. A book's returning that I know that you were excited about, Mike. Hotel Volume 2, Number 1. You really enjoyed that first volume.
So seriously, I did not know that this book was coming out until I was doing my new number ones for the following week. So I guess this series that I do actually helps me as well, because I didn't know this book was coming out, and I really enjoyed the first volume of this. Yeah. And it's going back to the same creepy ass hotel where these 4 rooms are actually connected, and these stories will connect with each other in some way, shape, or form. So again, I love these horror books as long as they're done right. But I don't want some creepy baby monster, doing what it did in the first issue of that. I was like, wow, this is weird. But
yeah, that was
I'm
so
looking
weird
to it. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen, man.
So weird it turned me completely off because it's just not my thing. But I'm glad you're enjoying it. Then we got a new Mike Millar book, King of Spies, #1.
Oh my god.
Yep. I'm going to check out the first issue because the concept seemed pretty cool. It's this spy who is on his deathbed and he's got to basically make a decision. Do I want to, let everything out of the bag, or do I just want to die in my hospital bed? So I'm curious to see what that could be about. If it doesn't capture me, maybe in the first or second issue, then I'll drop it. But I want to give it a try.
Yeah. We'll see. He has a lot of interesting concepts. The delivery,
and they never end.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. The delivery leaves something to be desired. So we'll see. All right. We got Wonder Girl #5.
Yeah, I'm excited. Solid book.
Gorgeous book.
Yeah.
At the very least.
Pretty crazy cliffhanger. Like she had to make a decision to stay in, in the man's world or go back to Themyscira, and obviously it's leading to a much bigger event in the future. So I'm looking forward to that. I always look forward to that book.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, now we're getting into the stuff we all enjoy. We got Firepower #18, which
the cliffhanger was good for that one.
Yeah, the cliffhanger was
supposed to be like a bigger size book or something really big is supposed to happen in it.
I must have missed that.
If I remember reading what at the letters page, I think it was supposed to be a big, shocking.
$3.99.
So it's normal.
I don't know if it says the page down here.
Let's see.
Go on the League of Comic Geeks.
League of Comic Geeks, it will tell you.
Yeah, major turning point for the series. You have been warned is how the solicitation
excited.
Ends. So yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, so that's cool. That's something to look forward to for sure.
Absolutely.
And Darkhawk. Yeah, I can talk. Darkhawk #4. I don't know why that was so hard for me to say.
It's been such a solid book. It's been good.
So speaking of Miles Morales, we'll get to see now if he's more involved in this issue, right? Because he's the one that rescued Darkhawk at the end of it after he got his hand chopped off. As we got to see that, and there, it's kind of weird and wonky like battle scenes that happen in this book, but the overall story has been really, solid.
Yeah, it's so much more than I could have hoped for with a revival for Darkhawk.
Yeah,
when they announced it was going to be a new person, like I don't know how I'm going to feel about that. With the history with Chris Powell and stuff, but they've done everything they could with him, and it's been so good. So looking forward to that. We've got the final issue of the Me You Love in the Dark that we can't wait to find out what is actually going on with this guy.
What is this book about?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man. I don't know. I'm waiting to see if my theory is correct. If it's a manifestation of her mind. So I don't know, but I am looking forward to this ending. This book has been so well done. One of my favorite series of the year for sure.
Yeah. And looks like I skipped over Venom #2. Mikey marked that one down.
Yeah, of course. Venom issue 2. Same thing. Venom issue 1 kind of just starting, the story is just starting out. So I want to see who that mystery character is at the end. I want to see what happens with Dylan. I just want to see more. It's so hard to, base things off of only one issue when there's a much grander story in play here. So yeah, we'll see where it goes.
Yeah. And then finally, the final issue, at least for now, of Daredevil, issue #36.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully this is a big one. It's literally launching into an event.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Is this the one where, like, Kingpin and Typhoid Mary get married?
Do they get married in this
I think
issue?
That's the event itself. I thought it was going to be the event itself that happens, but maybe it's this issue.
I'm not sure.
But either way, I'm excited. There's actually a lot of like bigger books. I wouldn't say big books, like in the grand scheme of things, they're not like big issue ones, but they're big books in my mind.
Though,
like,
big
I'm excited. Yeah. Exactly. Like I'm excited to read those books.
Right. Exactly. All right. Prepared to tie the knot. Yeah. So I guess it is this issue. Or at least it's the setup for it.
Or they're getting ready to. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's something to look forward to for sure. All right, and that's it. That's all our most anticipated for this week.
All right. So, anything else you guys want to say before we close out?
I think I'm good.
Yeah, just for me, once again, check out my Kickstarter, lasttimberpress.com/dragon ends Friday, less than 72 hours. So go back it, please. Thank you.
Yeah, and guys, I just wanted to let you guys know that are watching out there. I've teamed up with mutantbeavercomics.com. You guys can go ahead onto that website, and they have a ton of exclusive comic book covers and other things like comic book supplies and stuff like that. And if you enter the promo code CORNER10, you'll get 10% off of your purchase. And it's not just the first order, it's any other order after that as well. And I'm also teaming up with another .com called glasscabinethobbies.com, and they are releasing a Batgirls issue 1 Dan Mora exclusive. We're working on a promo code there, so you guys can pre-order that, and that comes out on December 14th. So if you guys want to check out those website sites and go ahead and order your exclusives and get your copy of Batgirls issue 1 by Dan Mora, I think that's kind of cool. So at least you get a little bit of a discount there, right? So that's all I have. Stay tuned for my haul, obviously starting tomorrow. As long as I can produce videos on my brand new phone that I got today, I gotta fix that all up. That's been a nightmare. But you guys have been great tonight. Thank you so much for watching and all the wonderful comments and participating in tonight's show. So with that being said, let's do the final closeout. So if you like this show, guys, make sure you give this live stream a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to Comic Book Corner 2.0 and Comic Book Weekly. Don't forget to follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, of course, YouTube, and all that great stuff. Hit the bell for notifications. There was even a comment here saying I did not get my notification. So just make sure unclick it, then re-click it, and then say receive all notifications. Hopefully that does help. Okay. I know a lot of people don't always get that. So guys, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you all again next week. This is Where We Wave. Thanks for watching, guys. See you soon.